Welcome to day 19 of our 30-day savings challenge. Today, we're going to talk about the one thing you need to give up to save more money. Number 1, the importance of identifying unnecessary expenses. The first step to cutting back on unnecessary expenses is to take a close look at your spending habits and figure out where your money is going. This might involve poring over your bank statements, credit card bills, or even just keeping a detailed record of your purchases for a week or two. Whatever method you choose, the key is to be honest with yourself and take a hard look at where your money is really going. Once you've identified your unnecessary expenses, it's time to start cutting back. This might mean making some tough choices like canceling subscriptions you don't really use, saying no to expensive outings with friends, or even just avoiding certain stores or websites where you know you're likely to make impulse purchases. But don't worry, cutting back on unnecessary expenses doesn't have to mean sacrificing all the things you love. In fact, by being more mindful of your spending, you may find that you're able to enjoy the things that truly matter to you even more. Whether it's splurging on a special treat once in a while or investing in experiences that bring you joy, you'll have more money to spend on the things that truly matter. Number 2, the one thing you need to give up to save more money. Impulse purchases. We live in a world where everything is available at our fingertips. With just a few clicks or taps, we can order food, clothes, electronics, and pretty much anything else we want and have it delivered right to our doorstep within hours or days. It's no wonder that instant gratification has become the norm. But here's the thing. That instant gratification is costing you more than you think. Every time you make an impulse purchase or give in to that craving for a fancy coffee or meal, you're sacrificing your long-term financial goals for a short-term pleasure. So what's the solution? The one thing you need to give up to save more money is that need for instant gratification. Instead of giving in to every impulse or desire, start thinking about the long-term impact of your purchases. Ask yourself whether that item or experience is really worth the cost, and whether you could be putting that money towards something more meaningful and valuable. It won't be easy, but with practice, you can learn to delay gratification and prioritize your long-term financial goals. This might involve setting a budget and sticking to it, avoiding tempting situations that could lead to impulse purchases, or finding alternative ways to satisfy your cravings without breaking the bank. Number 3, how impulse purchases can harm your budget. Impulse purchases are those unplanned, spur-of-the-moment buys that we make without really thinking them through. They often happen when we're feeling bored, stressed, or emotional, and we're looking for a quick fix to make us feel better. And while they might provide a temporary high, they can have serious consequences for our wallets in the long run. One of the biggest ways that impulse purchases can harm your budget is by eating away at your disposable income. Every time you make an impulse purchase, you're taking money away from other things you could be spending it on, like paying off debt, saving for a vacation, or investing in your future. Another way that impulse purchases can harm your budget is by encouraging bad spending habits. When you get used to giving in to every impulse, you start to lose sight of your priorities and goals. You might start to justify unnecessary purchases by telling yourself that you deserve it or that you'll make up for it later. But the truth is, those purchases add up over time and can leave you feeling stuck in a cycle of overspending and debt. So how can you break the cycle of impulse purchases and take control of your budget? The first step is to recognize the triggers that lead to those unplanned purchases, whether it's stress, boredom, or a need for instant gratification. Once you've identified those triggers, you can start to find alternative ways to cope with them, like taking a walk, practicing mindfulness, or indulging in a low-cost hobby. Another strategy is to set yourself a budget and stick to it. Give yourself a specific amount of money to spend each week or month on discretionary purchases, and make a plan for how you'll use it. By being intentional and mindful about your spending, you can avoid those impulse purchases and stay on track towards your financial goals. Number 4. Tips for avoiding impulse purchases. Make a list. Before you head out to the store or start browsing online, make a list of the items you actually need. This will help keep you focused on your priorities and avoid the temptation to stray from your budget. Wait it out. When you come across something that you really want, don't buy it right away. Instead, wait a few days or a week to see if you still feel the same way about it. Often, the impulse to buy will fade, and you'll be glad you didn't spend the money. Avoid window shopping. If you're trying to avoid impulse purchases, it's best to stay away from the stores or websites where you're most likely to be tempted. Instead, find other activities or hobbies that you enjoy and make those your go-to when you're feeling the urge to spend. Use cash. When you're shopping, try using cash instead of a credit or debit card. This way, you can physically see the money leaving your wallet, which can help you be more mindful of your spending. Set a limit. If you know you're prone to impulse buying, set a limit on how much you can spend in a given time period. This can be a daily, weekly, or monthly limit, depending on your needs. Number 5. Strategies for replacing the satisfaction of impulse purchases. Pursue a hobby. Investing your time and energy into a hobby can be a fulfilling way to satisfy your cravings without breaking the bank. Whether it's painting, writing, or hiking, find an activity that you enjoy and make it a regular part of your routine. Focus on experiences. Instead of buying material things, invest in experiences that will create lasting memories. This could be as simple as taking a walk in a new park, trying a new recipe, or planning a weekend getaway. Try dye projects. Channel your creativity into dye projects that can save you money and provide a sense of accomplishment. Whether it's making your own soap, knitting a scarf, or refurbishing furniture, there are countless ways to get crafty and save money in the process. Volunteer. Giving back to your community can be a rewarding way to feel good about yourself while also helping others. Look for volunteer opportunities in your area and find a cause that you're passionate about. Practice gratitude. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, take time to appreciate what you do have. Cultivating gratitude can help shift your mindset away from material possessions and towards the meaningful relationships and experiences in your life. At the end of the day, giving up impulse purchases can be challenging, especially if you're used to instant gratification. Subscribe now to join us tomorrow for day 20 of our 30-day savings challenge, where we'll be exploring how to make no-spend days a habit. We'll provide you with even more unique and creative tips to help you achieve your financial goals. See you then.